Now on CoastTV News.
Watch for areas of dense fog this morning, then with summer-like warmth and humidity this afternoon, the possibility of strong to severe storms both today and tomorrow with a drier Sunday. Forecast details coming up.
Dewey Harbor dwelling, a familiar issue in a new town. Dewey Beach preparing to look at short-term rentals on houseboats.
Curfew clash after Rehoboth Beach police say they are seeing a big increase in criminal activity committed by teens. We look at the restrictions now being considered by the city.
Rocked by the Hurricanes.
Chestakov with tough angle, he scores!
Game, set, and match on the Capitals season as the top seed in the East is eliminated in the second round.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning. I am Matt Pensick.
And good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. It is Friday, May 16th, 2025.
It's also graduation weekend
It's a
for
busy
many
graduation
colleges,
week, yes.
including, we'll talk about this one in a moment, University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Yes, my little brother graduates from college this weekend. I sadly realized I graduated from college 2 years ago this week.
Very sad.
I
was too. It was one of the sadder days of my life.
To think about it, it's still really sad, but I had beautiful weather for my graduation. Bob, I hope the graduates this weekend maybe get some patches of some dryness so they can be outside and take photos with their families.
I know. I hope so. Good morning, Elisa and Matt. Yeah, we have graduation, and there will be windows of dry periods, but also some showers and storms. And graduation was a little sad for me, too, because I realized that I had to become an adult and start paying bills and rent and things like that. We're watching for fog this morning, Sussex County, Atlantic Ocean, and the Bays, too. So watch for that. And visibility has dropped in Ocean City to 3 miles, 5 miles in Salisbury, 6 in Georgetown. It's kind of spotty fog, but watch out. Use a low beam headlights, drive with caution. Otherwise, we're looking at a beautiful sunrise. It's warm and muggy. No storms over us, but I'm looking across the Ohio Valley for the potential of a cluster of storms that could drop in this afternoon and possibly bring us severe weather. Kind of a 50-50 chance. It's in the 60s right now with light winds. We have the fog this morning. It'll burn off a little bit later on, and then it's warm and muggy. 80s this afternoon, 60s and 70s closer to the beaches. Then we're watching those storms flaring up possibly into the afternoon with heavy rain, damaging winds, and possibly hail into the evening hours, and then it does dry out after that. So heads up on your ferry ride to and from southern Jersey. Could see some storms this afternoon, but this morning I think it's just a little foggy, cloudy with light winds and temperatures in the 60s and then eventually mid-70s later on.
Bobby mentioned that spotty fog. Let's take a live look now at Salisbury, and you can see that kind of hanging over the sky there at Salisbury University. As for those getting ready to head out the door this morning, we do have some reports Bob mentioned on some fog on those back roads. Our top story this half hour, short-term rentals on houseboats. That was a big topic in Ocean City last year. Today, Dewey Beach officials are debating that. We actually did a check of Airbnb, and currently there are some listings for these types of rentals in Dewey Beach. Town Manager Bill Zolper is set to lead that discussion on houseboats at today's Town Council meeting.
And in Ocean City, the company that attempted to have houseboat short-term rentals has been quiet since the town enacted an ordinance banning the use. Last June, it was approved by Mayor Rick Meehan and the council. Reasons cited for the ban were the overcrowding of marinas and other safety issues. At that time, Sea Rocket CEO Will Wangle told CoastTV that if the town went through with this ban, he would look to pursue legal action.
And we're looking ahead now in Ocean City. Summer safety's in the spotlight. The Maryland Department of Transportation is launching the 2025 OC Walk Smart, Drive Smart, Bike Smart campaign as the beach season ramps up. Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan and state highway officials scheduled to be at the Roland E. Powell Convention Center at 11 a.m. for this.
Happening today, pushing back on what Rehoboth Beach officials say is an increase in teen delinquency. At the mayor and commission meeting, officials will discuss implementing a curfew for minors. This comes as they say there has been a 110% increase in teen charges over the past 3 years. Some locals support the possibility, while others say there are other solutions.
Protecting the elderly, because there's a lot of elderly people in Rehoboth, mostly older people. I don't think why should they have to worry about trouble?
I would want people to have the freedom to come to the beach and be here however long they want.
At a previous meeting, Commissioner Sid mentioned how Rehoboth is the only beach town in the area without a curfew right now, so people may naturally come here to exercise more freedom. That discussion will take place today at 2 p.m.
Also today in the nation's summer capital, the city manager could eventually get a pay bump. Rehoboth Beach officials are considering that action based on Manager Taylour Tedder's performance evaluation. You may remember Tedder was already offered a salary of $250,000 when he began work for the city in 2024. That led to some backlash, resulting in the Office of Delaware's Attorney General determining there were FOIA violations during that hiring process. A special meeting on the merit increase is scheduled for 10 a.m.
New this morning in Bethany Beach, town officials want to borrow money for a new water clarifier. Officials say they need almost $4 million for that project. There will be a special election for this referendum on May 24th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
And also at that meeting, officials are considering pedestrian improvements. You can see the area in focus on your screen. This is Kent Avenue and Garfield Extension near Route 26. It's not clear what kind of improvements officials are looking at. A meeting again takes place at 2 p.m. today.
Probation reform is back on the table in Delaware. State Senator Marie Pinkney reintroduced legislation aimed at modernizing Delaware's probation and parole systems. Senate Bill 7 and 8 would shift community supervision towards less restrictive conditions and allow for remote check-ins. Roughly a third of those under supervision in Delaware end up reincarcerated, often for technical violations, not for new crimes. This bill is now headed to the Senate Executive Committee.
A story Capitol fans know oh so well. A great regular season ends in a playoff flameout. Last night, the Caps lost Game 5 of the second-round series against the Hurricanes by a 3-1 score. Well, more on the elimination loss later on CoastTV News Today.
And we are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Trump is headed back here after wrapping up a visit to the Middle East filled with big deals.
While on his trip, the president pressed Iran on a nuclear deal and weighed in on talks underway to end Russia's war in Ukraine.
While here at home, the ongoing battle over immigration reaches the country's highest court. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments over the president's plan to end birthright citizenship. NBC's Alice Barr shows us what could be next in both of these developing situations.
President Trump wrapping up his Middle East trip this morning with a visit to an interfaith complex housing a mosque, church, and synagogue in the United Arab Emirates. That after the UAE president announced plans to invest $1.4 trillion over 10 years in U.S. industry, including energy and AI.
We will work very hard to deserve it. I have absolutely no doubt that the relationship will only get bigger and better.
It caps a week of deals in 3 wealthy Gulf states alongside diplomacy, pushing Iran to negotiate to abandon its nuclear program.
Iran has sort of agreed to the terms. They're not going to make, I call it in a friendly way, nuclear dust.
While agreeing to lift sanctions on Syria and pressing its president to normalize relations with Israel, all while weighing in on talks underway to end Russia's war on Ukraine.
Nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together.
President Trump returns to the U.S. today as the Supreme Court begins considering his administration's case on birthright citizenship and the power of federal judges. In oral arguments Thursday, the court's conservative majority appeared open to the administration's argument that a single federal judge in one state should not have the authority to block an executive order nationwide, as has happened nearly 40 times this term, including on the president's effort to end automatic citizenship for children born in the U.S. whose parents are undocumented immigrants. On that critical point, the justices appeared skeptical given the Constitution's guarantee of birthright citizenship. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we're just getting started in this hour of CoastTV News today.
Coming up, summer road safety, how Maryland is taking action as summer approaches.
Also, FEMA fears will tell you the agency's concerns ahead of the start of hurricane season.
And parking pressure ramps up. How Salisbury's preparing for a full welcome back to the paid season. All that and more as CoastTV News Today continues.
Just about 6:12 on our foggy Friday morning on the FH Fur Camp, 66 in Cambridge. You can see we're pretty socked in with the fog there, and a dense fog advisory. Sussex County, Atlantic Ocean, and the bays as well. That's until 11 a.m. Watch for visibility less than a half mile. 3 miles now in Ocean City. A little better in Salisbury and Georgetown, but that fog's going to be hanging around for a couple of hours. Otherwise, it's muggy and mild this morning. We're dry, and then we're looking at storms to our north and west, possibly blowing up and then heading our way this afternoon, possibly giving us some strong to severe storms. I gave it the yellow light this morning for the morning commute for dense fog. Watch for that. Then the other hazard this afternoon and this evening, showers and storms, some with hail and damaging winds. More on that potential coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. Salisbury University is inviting the public to share ideas as it maps out its next 5-year strategic plan. 2 community listening sessions are scheduled for June 9th and 10th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Purdue Hall's Bennett Family Auditorium. University leaders say public feedback will help shape priorities through 2030. Admission is free and all are welcome.
Going to stay in Salisbury. Parking enforcement is returning to the city. It's underway now. It's going to run June 1st. The city will issue warnings, not tickets, just warnings for violations in all city-owned lots, streets, and facilities. This grace period is meant to educate drivers about rules like permit requirements and time limits, but beginning June 2nd, full enforcement and citations will resume. People in the city and businesses are being asked to update permit and vehicle info by then.
LEGO officially opened its new U.S. headquarters in Boston on Thursday. The company announced in 2023 that it was moving its headquarters from Connecticut to Boston. The move is expected to be done by the end of next year, and LEGO employs about 3,500 people in the U.S.
Florida now the second state to ban fluoride in public drinking water. On Thursday, Governor Ron DeSantis signed the Florida Farm Bill. The legislation bans the use of any additive in a public water system that doesn't meet the new definition of water quality additive. DeSantis said forcing fluoride into the water supply is basically forcing medication on people.
Definitely has that summer look on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture camera this morning. We've got some fog, some haze, 65 out the door. Watch for that dense fog this morning, then very warm and humid today. We do have the possibility of strong to severe storms later today and then into Saturday with a drier and cooler Sunday. Your full forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 6:16, and we are getting a live look at the Roosevelt Inlet and Lewis. Bob, waiting for that sunrise to pop up. Bob, I've attended a few Preakness races in my time. Okay. No matter the weather, always a good time there.
I'm sure, because a lot of folks like to gather in the infield and other places and maybe enjoy some adult beverages. And we are looking at weather that I think is looking good. We have the Preakness Stakes on CoastTV tomorrow. I think that coverage begins mid-afternoon, and we're looking at post time at 7:01. Matt Pensick saying 4 p.m. on the pre-race on CoastTV. And it's looking warm and muggy. It's going to be like a summer-like day at Pimlico, mid to upper 80s. Could see a few showers and storms into the afternoon. That's still up in the air. I tell you what, that track's going to be a lot drier than the Derby, where it was a muddy mess. So, definitely a faster track as we go into tomorrow. As far as our weather right now, it is a dense fog advisory for Sussex County, the inland bays, and then the ocean, and then Delaware Bay too. This goes until 11 a.m., so that fog might be a little pesky. Now 2.5 miles in fog in Ocean City. Watch for lower visibility even where it's saying the visibility is better. Use the low beam headlights and maybe delay travel if you can. As we have the fog this morning, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Dry over us now, but we do have a system developing to our north and west, a cold front through the Ohio Valley, seeing some storms trying to gather in Kentucky, and then another cluster up near Buffalo. And we're going to have to watch this to see if it kind of merges into one and then settles to the southeast. That could give us some strong to severe storms possibly this afternoon. We'll watch that. Otherwise, out the door, it's temperatures in the lower 60s, and we're looking at just calm winds right now. So we're watching for that fog to burn off by mid-morning, and it's a quick warm-up by noon. afternoon. Already 80s well inland, mid-80s around Salisbury back to Seaford. Could start to see some afternoon showers and storms as soon as 1 p.m. and then some of those could pack a punch into this afternoon and evening with heavy rain, hail, and maybe some damaging winds. And then those calm down after sunset. Overnight, still mild and muggy, maybe some fog in the morning, but the wind's picking up out of the southwest. Look how warm it is at 5:30 into the low 70s. And even though this model is dry, I still think there's a chance of showers and storms heading into Saturday with the cold front. But this model at 1 p.m. has it crystal clear with mid-80s inland. Don't know about that. So just on the side of caution, make sure you have your CoastTV weather app to keep you apprised of that potential for severe weather. Mid to upper 80s into the afternoon hours. And then we move into Sunday, and we're looking at a northwesterly flow that will bring cooler and drier air with temperatures into the 70s. Slight risk of severe weather both today and tomorrow. Once again, damaging winds a main threat. Could be seeing some hail as well, and maybe up to about another half an inch of rain on top of what we've already picked up the last several days. 85 late day storms today, 88 with that possibility of storms Saturday, and then cooler and drier upper 70s Sunday and Monday, and even cooler after that. Better rain chances Wednesday and Thursday with highs only into the upper 60s.
And as Bob mentioned, Saturday is the 150th running of Preakness Stakes. I know a number of people from our side of the Chesapeake Bay will make that trip to Baltimore and take part in all of the festivities. It will be the last Preakness at the Pimlico track as we know it right now. It is scheduled to be at a different location in Maryland next year as they rebuild this historic yet aging facility. And CoastTV's coverage of Saturday's Preakness begins at 4 p.m.
Preparing for flooding, one photo at a time. In Milton, the Flood Vision gave a presentation on how technology could be utilized to visualize flooding. Flood Vision uses a car with a camera to generate what a flooded Milton would look like and what impacts it would have. Coastal hazard specialist Danielle Swallow says resources like this helps bring awareness to the issue.
Seeing a representation of what that could look like, what the flooding could look like, how far it's going to go up a door front, whether it's going to cover, your commute route, really matters. And so people will be able to take away a lot more information through a photo.
According to Flood Vision's data, 6,600 homes could be at risk of flooding in Sussex County by 2050.
And in related news, with the start of hurricane season coming up on June 1st, dark clouds are hovering over FEMA. A document obtained by CNN says the agency is struggling. They've had minimal coordination with states, and the organization says it will slow emergency responses. The Trump administration has repeatedly called FEMA ineffective and unnecessary. It has lost about 30% of its full-time staff since the start of the administration.
Coming up next, your cool things to do this weekend. From biking for a cause to pickleball and art by the beach, we've got your plans covered, so stay tuned.
As the weather warms up, more motorcyclists are hitting the roads on Delmarva. State and local leaders are coming together in Salisbury to highlight efforts to protect riders and drivers. MDOT reports that nearly 80% of fatal crashes involving motorcycles happens between May and October. Salisbury Councilwoman April Jackson says she recently lost a friend in a motorcycle crash.
Proceed with precaution, pay attention, don't drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs or anything. Just be cautious, stay focused and alert about what you're doing when you're doing it, because that drive or that ride depends upon you.
Officials say so far this year, 13 people on motorcycles have been killed on Maryland Road, and one of those deaths was in Wicomico County. And Matt, Bob has been talking a lot about this muggy weather. I mean, it is warm, but then it's raining 1 second. It's sunny. That's affecting grill season. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I will plow through.
Okay,
unless
unless
it's a hurricane. There will be grilling at some point this weekend.
Okay.
I got one for both of you. It has been, get this, consistently inconsistent. Bob, you're free to use that one if you want.
No, I can't agree with you more. It's really been unsettled the last several days with lots of rain. We will improve by the weekend, but we're still hanging on to that murky pattern. Dense fog advisory continues until 11 for a good chunk of Delaware, for the Atlantic and Delaware Bay, too, as we are watching for that fog. Assateague and Chincoteague watch for late day showers and storms after morning fog, warming into the 70s, some of those with gusty winds. If you're at the beach this evening, heads up for strong to severe severe weather. You don't see the thunderstorms here in Fenwick Island and Ocean City, but you too are under the gun for that. And on the Bay side, the next 3 days, we're looking, actually for today, we're looking at a high around 80 in Cambridge, a chance of storms later on, and then upper 70s to close to 80 in Crisfield with some storm chances too. That threat continues into Saturday, drier on Sunday. Much more in your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
All right, thank you, Bob. And from the canvas to the coastline, this weekend is packed with ways to play and explore.
Coast TV's Christina DeRobertis has your cool things to do.
The best weekends are the ones where you can have some fun and do some good, and that's exactly the case with Saturday's Meals on Wheels event. Wheels for Meals is back, inviting bike riders of all ages to pedal through Sussex County, all while supporting local seniors. The event starts and ends at Hudson Fields in Milton. You can set sail into local history at Lightship Overfalls and Canal Front Park in Lewis Saturday for Maritime Day. Celebrate the sea, the stories, and the spirit of the region. Get ready for a day of pickleball and pickle drinks at Milton's Dogfish Head. The parking lot will be transformed into a pickleball court from 11 to 6 p.m. on Saturday. In Rehoboth Beach, Grove Park turns into an open-air gallery Saturday from 10 to 5 for the Rehoboth Beach Art Festival. Local and regional artists will showcase and sell their original work. And you can check out CoastTV.com for all the details. Just look under Cool Things to Do.
Now on Coast TV News.
Watch for areas of dense fog this morning, then with summer-like warmth and humidity this afternoon, the possibility of strong to severe storms both today and tomorrow with a drier Sunday. Forecast details coming up.
Minor mayhem measures. After Rehoboth Beach police say teen criminal activity is on the rise, we look at the curfew under consideration by city officials.
Short term on the shore, houseboat vacation lodging gets a review today in Dewey Beach.
Big move for brews. The new bill in Delaware's General Assembly that could allow for changes to Sussex County's breweries.
This is Coast TV News Today.
May 16th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, sorry about that one. The time is 6:30. For those planning Preakness parties, especially at Pimlico tomorrow, you know, the official cocktail of the Preakness is the Black Eyed Susan.
I did not know this. Do you know what's in it?
I did. I looked it up.
Okay.
It's quite potent. You got bourbon, you got schnapps, you got vodka.
Yeah.
Then there's some other stuff to make it sweeter, but man.
All right. Well, if you want to drink a Black Eyed Susan outside, Bob, I don't know if the weather is looking that great. You said better than the Kentucky Derby, because we saw that was a mess there, but I think people going want to know.
Yeah, well, the weather's going to be a lot better for the Preakness for sure. The Derby was a mess. It was soggy and wet, muddy track, but much better for Preakness. Be careful out there, too. If you are imbibing in some adult beverages, it's going to be very warm and muggy. It's best to stay hydrated with just water. All right, dense fog advisory for much of Delaware through the Atlantic Ocean, Delaware bays as well, inland bays, too. That's until 11 a.m. We've seen patchy fog. Not everybody in on a dense fog. 4 miles now in Ocean City, 5 in Salisbury, 6 in Georgetown. So make sure, pack your patience this morning. It is hazy and foggy out there. It will burn off in a couple of hours. Otherwise, we have some clouds moving in. We're dry for now, but I'm watching to the northwest. In this area around the Ohio Valley, we're seeing some showers in Kentucky, also a cluster across western PA, and these could combine and turn into one big cluster of storms heading our way for this afternoon. It's about a 50-50 chance, so just keep that in mind. We're in the 60s out the door. The winds are calm, and we're looking at fog this morning for the next couple of hours. Then it has that summer feel today with 80s inland, and then this afternoon, those showers and storms popping up, maybe as a big cluster of heavy rain, damaging winds and hail. We'll have to see about that, but mid-afternoon, you can definitely see the activity from Delmarva to Bethany Beach and Lewis. So heavy rain, vivid lightning, and damaging winds, the main threat. Then I think things start to calm down as we go into the evening and overnight hours. Here's a bus stop forecast for the kids. Be extra careful out there this morning with the limited visibility. Probably tough to see the school bus and the kiddos. 64 off to school areas of fog. And then this afternoon, they could be encountering some showers and storms and maybe some strong to severe storms heading home from school, and 79 degrees.
Thank you, Bob. And we have been tracking those foggy conditions. I know I ran into a lot of fog this morning driving into work. We're now taking a live look outside in Lewis. As we can see, the visibility looks good outside there. But again, just be careful as you are driving, especially on those back roads this morning. And our top story this half hour, Rehoboth Beach City Manager could get a pay bump. Rehoboth officials are considering that action based on Manager Taylour Tedder's performance evaluation. You may remember Tedder was already offered a salary of $250,000 when he began working for the city in 2024. It led to backlash, resulting in the Office of Delaware's Attorney General determining there was a FOIA violation during the hiring process. A special meeting on the merit increase is scheduled for today at 10 a.m.
Staying in Rehoboth Beach for our next story, city officials say there is an increase in teen criminal activity, and now there is a discussion on implementing a curfew for minors. According to an ordinance under proposal, there has been a 110% increase in teen charges over the past 3 years. At a previous meeting, city commissioners claimed Rehoboth Beach is the only coastal community without a curfew. And discussion on this takes place at 2 p.m.
Short-term rentals on houseboats was a big topic last year in Ocean City, and today Dewey Beach officials are debating that topic. We did a check on Airbnb, and currently there are listings for these types of rentals. Town Manager Bill Zolper is set to lead this discussion on houseboats at today's council meeting.
This morning we're getting information about a bill that was introduced Thursday in the Delaware House of Representatives, and it deals with microbrewery ownership. It gives the owners of these businesses some options. They can hold 3 licenses. 2 can be used for breweries, or 2 can be used for brew pubs. Currently, only 1 brewery license is allowed. We're expecting a hearing in the Economic Development, Banking, Insurance, and Commerce Committee later on this.
New this morning in Bethany Beach, town officials want to borrow money for a new water clarifier. Officials say they need almost $4 million for that project. There will be a special election for this referendum on May 24th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Just a few hours from now, Maryland Governor Wes Moore will deliver another commencement address. He's visiting the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and this comes only after a short time. He spoke recently at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. This commencement address in Princess Anne takes place at 10 a.m.
New overnight, a new report on the Consumer Sentiment Index comes out today. Many economists predict a rebound after 4 months of tumbles.
New index measures how Americans feel about the economy, and Amy Kiley shows us what that means for your wallet.
If Walmart has to raise prices, everyone's going to raise prices.
Despite some grim news for American consumers, the economy is showing signs of hope. In a new report, the United Nations downgrades its forecast for GDP growth. It now predicts 2.4% globally and 1.6% in the U.S. this year. The good news is growth is still growth. Meanwhile, Walmart says its, quote, everyday low prices are going up on some items.
You're going to see price increases for some products. Other products, the cost increase will be absorbed at the source.
Walmart gets most of its food products domestically, so tariffs affect those less. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports egg prices are improving.
Everybody had eggs for Easter at a very reasonable price.
An inflation gauge called the Producer Price Index is down month over month, and experts say lowering tariffs on Chinese imports helps inventory levels.
If we had continued on that track, we would have had empty shelves. So now the question, of course, is lowering to tariff enough to prevent empty shelves?
The Federal Reserve Chair says he's still concerned about the supply chain and inflation. He says interest rates could remain higher over the long term.
We may be entering a period of more frequent and potentially more persistent supply shocks, a difficult challenge for the economy and for central banks.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Still more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, progress against period poverty. We'll tell you about the new resource now available in Salisbury.
Also, Canes and cap season. The captain, Alex Ovechkin, talks about the missed opportunities after his team was eliminated in the playoffs.
And Spill reroutes road. We'll show you how crews say this disaster happened. Stay with us on CoastTV News Today.
Just about 6:40 on our Friday morning. Pretty good visibility looking over Delaware Bay on the tunnel and razor cam. Other areas of Delmarva seeing the fog, but we're going to be seeing hazy, warm, and muggy conditions today. You can see that dense fog advisory still in effect for Delaware, the land areas, also the waterways too, from the ocean to the base through 11 a.m. as visibility is about 4 to 6 miles, maybe even lower in spots. So that'll be the case the next couple of hours as we're warm and muggy, but we're watching to the north and west for the potential of a cluster of storms developing and then maybe giving us severe weather into the afternoon. So if you're headed to the golf course, keep an eye to the sky, especially this afternoon, for that chance of scattered showers and storms. It will be muggy too, and 85 degrees. And congratulations to Barbara Hansen from Lewis on a new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
New this morning, this is the scene from a fuel spill Thursday near Route 24. According to the Millsboro Fire Company, a truck overturned, causing the fluid to leak out onto the road and grass. Deldet says Laurel Road between Curly Road and Substation Road was closed for some time, launching a detour for drivers. That crash happened around 3 p.m. Thursday afternoon.
The Chesapeake Marshlands National Wildlife Refuge Complex. They're asking for public feedback on proposed outside research. That could lead to allowing qualified researchers from agencies, universities, and the public to conduct studies as long as they don't disrupt wildlife or habitats. Public comments are accepted through June 2nd.
Lewis is setting sail into its storied past this weekend at the annual Maritime Day celebration. Canalfront Park and Lightship Overfalls will host free exhibits, boat rides, and tours. Highlights include a visit from the Coast Guard, as well as a look at a working pilot boat. The president of the Overfalls Foundation spoke with Coast Life on how this event honors Lewis's deep maritime roots.
Well, the Congress made National Maritime Day May 22nd in the 30s, but we have such a strong maritime history in Lewis that we decided we should have our own Lewis Maritime Day.
This is taking place tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Yes, regular season finale up at Sussex Academy in Boys Lacrosse last night. Let's roll the tape. Boys lax action in the Henlopen. You got the Buccaneers taking on the Seahawks. Sussex Academy going to play in the Henlopen title game against Cape. Meanwhile, Milford are going to finish the year above 500. It's already 1-0. Gideon Simmons fighting through the defense. Good use of the swim dodge, and he buries a goal. It's 2-0 Sussex Academy. Milford responding shortly thereafter. This is Ty Mackert with the tally. Now down 3-1. Milford still generating some offense. Chase Reisinger makes it 3-2 after one. We head to the second. It is Reisinger again. Bringing out the pass cross field and slots it low and in to knot the game up at 3. Academy would respond. A goal from Benjamin Warren to make it 4-3 Hawks. Still in the second. SA up 5-4. Ashton Fury. It's a fitting name because he buries this one with a vengeance. Milford now up 6-5. And Mackert's doing his thing offensively, feeding his buddy Reisinger for the easy tally on the doorstep. He put a little mustard on that one. Behind the back, 7-5 Milford ahead, and the Buccaneers would go on to win this one. 13-8 over Sussex Academy. They finished the regular season 8-7, while the Seahawks go on to play Cape Henlopen in the title game this weekend.
And coming up tonight on DSN Live, Henlopen Conference Softball Championship game when Cape takes on Lake Forest. Then at 10:30, it's the final score. On the DSN Plus app, you get that title game, and then you also get this one, Sussex Central softball team traveling to the Delaware Military Academy at 4. Punch in the gut, it's the best way I can describe this one. Season ender for the Capitals last night. Carolina's Andrei Shnetnikov from the angle, gets it past Logan Thompson. With under 2 minutes remaining in the game, Hurricanes went at an empty netter. Caps lose 3-1. And the second round series, 4-1. Here's the captain.
We have our chances, so we just, maybe don't execute. Maybe luck was not our side because I don't think we played bad hockey. I think, we have lots of great chances to get the lead. It's tough.
It was tough, especially for the Capitals offense. They scored only 7 goals in the 5 games against the Hurricanes. The top-seeded Caps ousted in the second round.
Weather-wise, seeing the fog pretty thick now in Cambridge on the FH Fur Camp. Really be careful out there. It's kind of hit and miss. And we're looking at that fog burning off to warm and muggy conditions. Otherwise, a chance of strong to possibly severe storms today and then again on Saturday. Drier on Sunday. Your full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 6:47 and we are taking a live look outside at Laurel this morning. Bob, we experienced fog. We're seeing a little bit there in Laurel this morning, so be careful as you drive. But you have the Preakness forecast, and people who are headed there this weekend want to know, can they enjoy the outdoors without some rain?
Ooh, I think so, for the most part. Yeah, that's a true weatherman, right? I think so. I think so. No, I believe so. That we're looking at mainly dry conditions. It'll be a lot drier than the Derby. That was a muddy mess. But we begin coverage tomorrow on CoastTV at 4 p.m. Post time is shortly after 7 for the Preakness. And I think the weather is going to be warm and muggy, mid to upper 80s. We were talking about some of those adult beverages early. Take it easy on those. Drink water because it's going to feel like summer. And we have that chance of seeing showers and storms into the afternoon. So keep that in mind on your way over there. We have some fog this morning, dense fog advisory for Delaware, for the ocean, for the inland bays and Delaware Bay. That goes until 11. Some of that fog is pretty thick. And right now, visibility about 4 to 6 miles from Ocean City to Salisbury and Georgetown. We just saw in Cambridge, they're pretty socked in with the fog there. So it's going to take a few hours to burn off. Otherwise, we're looking at mild and muggy conditions. We have a warm front on our doorstep. That will bring in even warmer air today. And I am concerned about the possibility, I want to stress possibility, of seeing severe weather later on. We're seeing one cluster of storms through Pennsylvania. Looks like some other activity trying to get going around Kentucky. We'll have to see if they merge into one big complex and then head to the southeast and affect us this afternoon. Right now, it's about a 50-50 chance, but if they do erupt and move in, it could be kind of a rough afternoon. Temperatures are in the low to mid 60s right now, and the winds are very, very light. So we've got the fog this morning burning off in the next couple of hours, and then it's warm and muggy, already upper 70s later this morning by noon, low to mid 80s inland areas, and then by later afternoon, some showers and storms start to develop. Will it be a big complex of storms? It's kind of the million-dollar question, but by mid-afternoon, some heavy rain, maybe some hail and damaging winds, certainly a possibility with this activity. It quiets down this evening, and then as we head into the overnight into Saturday morning, breezy and mild. Now, this model keeps us dry as we go into Saturday afternoon. I don't know about that. I think we still have a chance of seeing showers and storms. It'll be warm and muggy, mid to upper 80s inland. I still think we have that storm threat into the evening, and then it clears out, it dries out into Sunday. It gets breezy with temperatures only into the 70s with that slight risk of severe weather today and tomorrow. The main threat would be damaging winds, maybe a little bit of hail as well. And we could tack on maybe up to another half an inch or so of rain with that system. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 85. Keep an eye to the sky this afternoon. Have the CoastTV weather app for storms today and tomorrow. That will give you warnings, and also you can check out the interactive radar. 88 tomorrow, then much cooler and drier on Sunday, 79, 78 Monday, even cooler after that. Dry Tuesday, but then a chance of rain Wednesday and Thursday, and temperatures cooler into the 60s for highs and lows into the 50s. So we get a break from the heat as we go into next week.
Thank you, Bob. Thursday, it was a day of remembrance at the Wycomico County Sheriff's Office. It was National Fallen Peace Officers Memorial Day. The Sheriff's Office and the Salisbury Police Department held a joint event. The agencies honored Salisbury Police Officer Henry Stevens, Wycomico County Deputy Albert Kelly, Wycomico County Sheriff Samuel Graham, and Wycomico County Corporal Glenn Hilliard. All four paid the ultimate sacrifice, protecting their community.
These are days, in addition to Officer Henry, but the other officers mentioned, it's an opportunity to reflect and remember those folks that paid that ultimate sacrifice.
And at the event, elected officials and county executives presented citations marking National Police Week.
And Sheriff Mike Lewis says this was the first public event at the new Wycomico County Sheriff's Office. The new $40 million state-of-the-art facility officially opened last month. After the ceremony, the sheriff gave members of the public a tour, including the dispatch center, workout space, and the emergency operations center. Sheriff Lewis says an official open house is being scheduled for September in Wycomico County. And new this morning, fighting period poverty in Salisbury. That is when people do not have access to safe menstrual products. And Salisbury says 1 in 8 women are living with this right now. The Wicomico County Commission for Women has set up the first pink pantry on the Eastern Shore, a place to get these products for free. The resource is located at the Newton Street Community Center in Salisbury.
If you are in need of a furry friend, now is a great time to adopt because the Brandywine Valley SPCA is holding a special from now until Sunday, May 18th. Any adult dog 30 pounds and up get a $25 adoption fee. This will take place at any Brandywine Valley SPCA campus.
And speaking of pets, the time is now 6:52, so we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Yeah, and speaking of the Brandywine Valley SPCA, as we do on Fridays, that is our pet of the day. And this hour we have Trixie. Trixie enjoys getting her head rubbed and also enjoys a high perch to take naps. She's very calm and loving. If you want to adopt Trixie, just head on over to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
And of course, we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
There's the QR code, top center. Scan it, get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:55 and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. Parking enforcement is returning in Salisbury. Starting now through June 1st, the city will issue warnings, not tickets, for violations in all city-owned lots, streets, and facilities. This grace period is meant to educate drivers about rules like permit requirements and time limits. But beginning on June 2nd, full enforcement and citations will resume. Locals and businesses are being asked to update permit and vehicle information by then.
Short-term rentals on houseboats, that was a big topic last year in Ocean City. It's a topic today in Dewey Beach. Officials there are debating it. We did a check of Airbnb and currently found some listings for these types of rentals in Dewey Beach. Town Manager Bill Zolper is set to lead the discussion on houseboats at Friday's Town Council meeting.
And it's 6:56, so we're going to take another look at your Friday and weekend forecast.
The weekend. I love the weekend, Bob, and even with the humidity, I know we can get through this.
I think we can.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's feeling like summer, guys. We're going to have that summer feel, the muggies and temperatures in the 80s. We have the fog this morning, so watch for dense fog and less than a half-mile visibility. Otherwise, here's your day-part forecast. We'll burn off that fog mid-morning hours, temperatures in the 60s, lots of humidity. And as I've been talking about all morning, there could be a complex of storms that moves in this afternoon with wind, rain, and possibly hail. So keep that in mind as we go into the afternoon, maybe even into the evening hours. And I think temperatures really warm up to about 85 degrees with that storm threat into this evening. Then I think we could see another round of storms into Saturday, very warm to almost hot, 88. And then behind a front, drier, a little cooler Sunday and Monday with upper 70s, even cooler on Tuesday with 73 degrees. Then I think we're looking at showers Wednesday and Thursday, and then that cools us back into the upper 60s, overnight lows in the 50s. And right now, next Friday into the weekend, looking dry and temperatures pretty nice in the low to mid 70s.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Friday morning, everybody.